Major League Pickleball, and it's going to be interesting to see can Jones and Jansen thwart this sister duo.
Both repping not only Selkirk paddles, but also Ava Lee.
0-0-1
through Selkirk.
Second
You
serve.
can see most everything going the direction of Allyce Jones to start.
And there's what Maggie Brascia was
0-0-2
doing all day. Is, I mean, Leah Jansen closed the middle and smoked it at her, and she just reset it without any problem.
Point.
And just slightly missed time from Mary Brascia, the older sister of Maggie.
1-0-2. Side out.
Oh my. So 12 versus 4. How could this one shake out in terms of strategy and maybe some scouting report between these two?
0-1-1.
Yeah, I mean, Allyce Jones and Leah Jansen are a team that very much understands their role. Leah is the firepower. Allyce is the setup role like she was in her volleyball days.
She was a defensive specialist. Prowess shows up on the pickleball court as well.
Point.
Some high shots, and Leah Jansen's asking herself why she took that one.
Yeah, especially in this altitude, that has no chance of staying in. And then the
1-1-1.
Brascias are going to be playing very patient and looking to counter.
Point.
Mary Brascia, just 23 years of age, her sister 20.
2-1-1.
Mary thinking this ball is inbounds. Leah calling it
Second
out
serve.
immediately.
Yeah, she went inside out, which I love that choice of where she went with it real close to the sideline there. They might challenge this. They're having a sisterly discussion.
The Brascias are challenging the line call. Result of the
So a
play
video
is
challenge will take place.
2-1-2.
Maggie Brascia, like you mentioned, played outstanding at Major League Pickleball. Daytona. And actually, she played so well, they went and had a celebratory day at Disney World the day after her and Mary.
Happiest place on earth after playing so well. So, you know, this ball is looking pretty good from that replay.
Perspective.
Yeah. I thought it was good live, and I'm sticking
So did
with
Mary.
that. Yeah, Mary was like so sure, and I love the choice that she went back foot on Leah there. So I think we're going to get an overtime here at camp, but we shall see.
We shall see. If you're wondering about women's semifinals action, Megan Sheehan, Dizon, and Etta Wright are into a semifinal. They will face off against Vivian David and Anna Bright. In terms of the other semifinal, Kovalova and Smith, if you were just joining us within the last hour, you saw them take on Getcheva and Grechkina in the quarterfinals with a victory there. So the winner of this current match will face off against the #1 seed in the semifinals. We'll also have the men's semifinals on the docket as Tyson McGuffin is playing alongside Brendan Long. They will face off against Riley Newman, who's playing with James Ignatowicz. So James versus Tyson? Oh boy, there's a lot of storylines in that one. And the final semifinal for the men, it's Colin Johns and Deckel Barr
Review. The call was
versus
overturned.
Travis
Ball is
Rettenmeyer,
in.
AJ Kohler.
3-1-1.
So the ball was indeed deemed in, and they will get to keep their timeout. They can keep their challenge. And we talk about, we got sisters playing. We had Vicky Ryan calling the prior match, and there's her husband Jim on the lead referee here. I love it.
Point.
And that's just wide from Allyce. So Nice start, great challenge. I mean, Mary had as good a look as anybody at that ball and was certain. That's why you use the challenge system. Get the call right.
It's also interesting to see Maggie playing the left side. I think back to Major League Pickleball, seeing her just so destructive with that forehand roll from the right side.
Yeah, it's all about putting players in their most comfortable, and Mary is a less alpha of the sisters.
Side out.
So she's gonna let Maggie swing away here, and well, you know, I think they have the ability to switch back and forth, and we'll see if they need to do that. As you mentioned, Maggie played brilliantly next to Andrea Coop on the right side in Daytona.
Yes. And Allyce Jones with a speed up on the third shot drive.
2-4-1. Point.
Tough ball off the top of the net. Allyce Jones, 35 years of age, out of Pleasant Grove, Utah.
3-4-1.
Just a few hours away, turned pro back in 2021.
Second serve.
Allyce has 3 kids, and they have, I've seen several of them out here playing in Utah, and they are so good at pickleball.
So good. And I wonder if they dive like their mom.
The roundhouse overhead from Maggie Brascia in the middle of that rally, and then the firefight to reset.
That's why everybody loves women's doubles, Cam, right there. You don't know what you're going to get, but these points are incredible.
Second serve.
That's a great location from Leah Jansen.
Yeah, and I'd love for Mary to let Maggie take that with her forehand. So the confusion worked, but I don't think that's going to work a second time.
Leah Jansen played tennis at Washington State. And that all starts from about 4 shots before. The great location yet again from Leah Jansen.
Yeah, so that time she found the right hip of Maggie Brascia to get them ahead. And that's the way this team works. Let Leah hunt, and Allyce will clean it up. And there she goes.
Well, she's gathering points one after another. Allyce Jones.
Love it. I love when she's flying through there. And, you know, that's the athleticism that she has and the foot speed really can enable her to get there. And I think that one off the back edge of the line there. So Leah will also go after the serve, too. She talked about it on singles day.
5-4 for Jones and Jansen.
Point.
I wasn't sure if that was good or not. Not much in terms of a reaction. But Allyce Jones, who played alongside Spencer Smith in mixed doubles, is proving to find some offense.
Second serve.
Nice lob location for Maggie Brascia over the left shoulder.
Yeah, so if you are the right side player, you can go down the middle with your lob because you're finding that footwork necessary to get it out of a backhand. That's really good from Mary twice.
Point.
And Leah Jansen, third shot drive on the backhand side.
Timeout receiving team, 7-4-2.
So higher elevation. 7-4 for Jansen and Jones. at the Selkirk Red Rock Open women's quarterfinal action.
Team, 2 timeouts remaining.
Maggie Brascia and Mary Brascia, the sister duo, trail by 3.
Time in, 7-4-2. Side out.
Where might they be able to find some momentum, Dave?
I think the Brascias need to do what they do best, which is get to the line, counter, throw up the lobs, you know, really grind against this team, and that requires getting the ball on the ground to start with.
Usually you see a defensive lob from the baseline, but that was one from the kitchen from Mary.
She was in deep trouble off the two-handed backhand attack from Leia, and she flipped it up in the air somehow.
And that is going to continue to be the location for Leia Jansen. She has been successful time and time again.
Yeah, Mary is, of course, one of the few players in the history of the sport that has a shot named after her. The merry-go-round, look it up, folks, on one of the most unbelievable things you'd ever see.
My question was going to be, what's the adjustment for Mary Brascia? Does she slide further to open up the two-hand backhand, or does she sit maybe a bit more forehand heavy?
Yeah, so that choice from Leia gives her confidence because she chose to stay in the same positioning, and Leia got beat in the chess match there. So to finish that point, Mary didn't change her positioning.
7-7-2.
Even though she'd been beat down the line twice, even though she got one flicked back. So Leia went to the other hip expecting a bigger move, and maybe that court's going to be wide open, and it wasn't. So those are all the little things that are going on. Like, hey, I know I beat you on this twice, so you're going to overreact to that. Mary did not. Well done, Mary.
The Selkirk paddles in the hands of the Brascia sisters as they have found a bit of rhythm here in the middle of this quarterfinal matchup. Let's take a look at a top court tutorial. Knotted up at 7 apiece, Brascia, Jansen, and Jones. They await coming back out of a timeout called, a 3-point swing, now the opposite direction. So much of this game is a chess match, and there were some adjustments in that rally.
Yeah, so that time Mary did sit forehand when Leia sped it up at her and was able to knock it back. As you see, she's quite pleased with the outcome of that. Allyce Jones had a little bit of court there, just pulled it wide, and Brascias have the lead.
So now where the adjustments come is that just hit right off the interior of her paddle.
And there's no rule that everyone on the right side has to hit sliding inside-out volley, but there it was again this time from Allyce Jones for the first time in this match.
And back-to-back errors for Maggie Brascia. So 8-all.
Yeah, you don't expect to get that freebie from that player, but here we go, snowmen everywhere in the desert.
That is 3 straight.
So then you say, okay, is this in her head? This is a great player, but let's see if she can work a way out of it. Throw the ball over there some more.
9-8-1.
A lead change for Jansen and Jones, 9-8. is all Jansen and Jones now. At 10-8, they have a shot at game point.
10-8-1.
Trying to chase it down, so it was all about swings in momentum and runs of points between these two teams in game number one.
Yeah, great job again by Jansen and Jones. This is a team that now believes no matter what the score is, they've shown it all year long. They called timeout, got back in it, and then had a very smart game plan. You see one of the players faltering on the other side just a little bit. Give them all the balls and then throw one behind the other player who's trying to do maybe a little too much. Really smart strategically at the end, and that's why they took game number one.
Allyce Jones and Leah Jansen have changed ends as they picked up game number one on the Carvana PPA Tour, the Selkirk Red Rock Open.
Side out.
A miss there, but it was a highly contested first game between these two in terms of a quarterfinal. 11-8, the game score. And it was runs of points and a couple errors here and there from both sides of the net.
Really was, and then it's just, you know, grinding out the end, which Jones and Jansen did well, and that was a very fun point. Great last counter from Leah. There's a great teaching moment right in there. Don't stick your paddle into the middle of the court if you're off balance. Watch where Maggie goes here. Mary's in perfect position to handle this ball, and she pops it up.
Tough to see behind you.
Point.
6 inches too long. Seen the lob utilized multiple times.
Yeah, and I talked to AJ Kohler, the lob. He's not the lob doctor. That, of course, is Callan Dawson, but he is a frequent lob user. He didn't use it at all in mix yesterday. The altitude is definitely a deterrent.
And now the Brascias are looking to speed up at Leah Jansen a bit more. Seems more aggressive here in game two to start.
Yeah, she's sitting forehand so hard there. So if you can go inside out and get it to her left hip, which is difficult to keep the ball in because you don't have a lot of room to keep it inside the sideline there, Cameron. So they're firing away here. Little sportsmanship to let everybody see, okay, how worn is this ball? Is it brand new or not? That definitely affects play, especially here. Really big difference.
Side out.
Short hopping, not taking the time away as Maggie Brascia.
Yeah, and then Leah had the, I think I have an
0-1-1.
ATP, I think I have it, and then at the last second, like, maybe I don't, and then ball's too low to do anything else with it.
Point.
And again, Mary Brascia, step and a half behind the kitchen line, gets the ball down at the feet.
Yeah, and you can see by the way
1-1-1.
Leah Jansen loaded up the two-handed backhand that something with pace was coming. Great job by Mary of countering that.
Point.
There's a good look for Maggie Brascia. She walks immediately back to the baseline.
Yeah, let's play fast here, sis.
They are looking to play fast.
Second serve.
A little shake and bake action potentially on the move.
And a lovely pirouette after the miss there from Mary.
2-1-2.
But I like that play. They are good enough, and they both like the two-handed backhand to go hunt that down in the middle. Just got to make it.
Side out.
Allyce Jones, the quick high five, and plenty of energy on their side.
Yeah, great counter there because Maggie Brascia reached in and went with a one-handed backhand flick, but wasn't ready for the next ball.
Second serve.
Did a nice job in terms of not only the speed ups, but the counters. Mary Brascia, tennis player out of Biola University. Her sister, Maggie, actually more of a golfer.
Point.
Most people think she came from more of a tennis background, but actually spent most of the time on the course. And also happy Masters weekend to all of you.
Absolutely. Someone's getting a green jacket. We should give those out.
Side out.
A lot of golfers on the Pro Tour big into pickleball.
2-2-1.
Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth played in our event last year, to name just a couple.
Second serve.
A lot of conversation here between the sisters throughout this match, trying to just find anything they can and get a missed return there.
3-2 now for Brascia and Brascia.
Side out.
It's been all about the alliteration the last
No doubt.
2 games. You had Grechkina, Getcheva, now Jansen, Jones, Brascia, and Brascia.
2-3-1.
It's nothing better than alliteration, so thank you, players.
We're challenging our own ways. Seems like the target may have shifted from Jones to Jansen.
Well, Jones in the transition area is so trustworthy, and Jansen there took a big swing after getting herself in a much better position. And the other thing you have is Allyce Jones, who's more used to this altitude, so how to handle the drop is the hardest thing to judge here in these conditions. So who can scrap better? Person with more experience with it.
Side out.
And there's an example there, just trying to get it in and just can't get the ball on the ground.
And they kind of keep finding the body of Leah Jansen now.
Yeah, so she's
3-3-1.
going to see if she wants to adjust her footwork and positioning if you get hit in the same spot, not with the ball, but with where the ball is.
Point.
So you stay with it until it stops working.
Absolutely, and there you see this partnership off court or off camera. Allyce Jones went right over to Leah Jansen and said, we're good.
Point.
And that ball is also good. 5-3 now, Brascia and Brascia.
5-3-1.
And here we saw earlier a chance to do that, and this time Mary's able to get it on the third swing for their team. Really nice.
The double lob in the same rally.
Went to the well twice, just able to get to the first one was Allyce Jones. I like it when someone's coming back in. I mean, it's a ball, she's on perfect balance.
Yes,
the skies, it's just, again, harder to contain here in the altitude. Missed the second choice.
Side out.
Leah Jansen going back to the well in her own right, finding the speed up to the forehand side of Mary Brascia.
3-5-1.
They earn the side out.
Not a lot of room there, so well done by Leah to just pinpoint accuracy.
The crumble.
Second serve.
Literally all bones in her body were gone, and she just came to the ground in a heap. Couldn't believe it after the perfect drive crash combo. Just didn't make it.
Side out.
So a quick hold for Brascia and Brascia.
5-3-1. Second serve.
Seems as if the game plan has become very clear in terms of Brascia and Brascia trying to isolate Leah Jansen and potentially find a lob over Allyce Jones's head. Wow, Maggie Brascia showing up big time in the firefight.
Just a tremendous point and ends up with the touchdown.
Timeout receiving team.
Call
6-3-2.
from Mary Brascia here. And it's, you know, offense to defense and really well done the way to be mentally strong in that rally by both Brascias.
By the way, that was still only worth 1 point.
Okay, here we go.
Mary Brascia has returned to championship court. She looks ready to roll alongside Maggie Brascia. Again, women's quarterfinal action.
Point.
That's a rare miss for Allyce Jones, whose game has really improved even in the last year or so.
No doubt, and even has a singles medal to show for her improvements across the board this year.
Side out.
So where have you seen her game evolve the most?
Yeah, I think she used to just be this defensive specialist and everybody enjoyed her diving all over the court, but now she has offense to go with it. She's also worked very hard at the kitchen line and has those rolls in the dink that can set up not just her partner, but herself as well.
Second serve.
And the other thing she has that is an underrated skill is reliability, meaning she puts the ball where you expect it to be consistently, and that makes you a better partner.
That's a great point.
Side out.
So a 7-3 lead is maintained by Brascia and Brascia.
7-3-1.
They look to add here.
Second serve.
Pulled cross body. Second serve. Utah Valley University libero on the return.
Side out.
That's a perfect setup for Mary right there. Just got too much of it. And here, if you hit it without the proper spin, it is definitely going to go deep.
Second serve.
And this is the challenge here, is each of these players has had to find out, how do I get to the kitchen in the transition area? What's the right amount of pace on the ball with this altitude?
Side out.
And that was quite a lesson from Maggie Brascia in terms of taking the ball out of the air, taking away time. Leah Jansen continuing to work back off the line to try and find some offense.
Yeah, and then tried to pull that trigger where she's been going to that Mary Brascia forehand and caught the net.
That's a big time play for Allyce Jones. She's been lobbed time and time again. This time, she's the one doing the damage.
Yeah, and she uses the width of the court to her advantage. So if you go diagonally, you can throw the ball up in the air higher because you've got more court to work with. Smart geometry from Allyce Jones as well.
Side out.
So Brascias have been stuck at 7 with a chance to really take this game number 2, and this is a dangerous team to let hang around here.
3-7-1.
Been stuck at 3-7 for a good amount of time.
Second serve.
Underrated part of Maggie Brascia is just the finishing power. Man alive. That mean Allyce Jones not even get a paddle on that. That shows you the pace.
Point.
The ability for Allyce Jones to get that ball down just in that paddle position is so hard when you have 2 hands on the paddle on the backhand, especially right at your midline.
Yeah, the one thing about Allyce that you can also watch, and there's differing opinions on this, is she really tracks the ball to Leia's paddle when her partner is hitting the ball more than most as far as the stare down. It's something to keep an eye on for her style of how she plays this great sport.
Second serve. Seven, 4-2. Side out.
Huge hands there, necessary for Allyce Jones. Tough to get that ball off the tape and get it down. Well done.
Watch out. Here come Jansen and Jones. They've held Brascia and Brascia multiple times now.
Yeah, 7 has not been lucky at all for the Brascias here so far.
You might need to cross the border to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Pick up an hour on your way over.
Lob the lob.
Second serve.
There's rainbows across the desert.
Unbelievable get from Mary, and I think that was going to be in the corner. That's one of those. Look at this desperation.
Point.
And then they get a freebie right after that.
Timeout receiving team.
So 6-7, the freebie added. And a timeout quickly called by Mary and Maggie. If you're just joining us, this is women's quarterfinal action, the last quarterfinal to be played on the day.
You each have 1 timeout remaining.
7-6, a fantastic run by the number 4 seed, Jansen and Jones.
Time in.
They were down 3-7.
Point.
7-all.
Yeah, and the short return was just pounced on there by Leia Jansen and just stayed after. And then her hand is trying to survive the violent high 5 from Allyce Jones coming in there.
There is a competitive grit of Jansen and Jones that is just so fun to watch.
It really is, and I love the ball that was placed on the left foot of Allyce Jones there. That really set up the Brascias, and Maggie couldn't make the next ball, but that's the place to put the ball in these dink rallies.
Offense, offense, offense from Allyce Jones.
Look at her pull the trigger down the middle and just keeps it in. And the Utah native knows just the right way to play the altitude here. What a rampage of a comeback.
You make a good point there. I still want to know who contacted that ball. They got so far outside the frame. What a hustle play.
I'm pretty sure Allyce is the one that got it and threw it into the kitchen. That's when you want to get. She had a chance on a two-handed backhand finish in the middle of that and couldn't get enough on it.
Second serve.
And Mary just says, who misses that to her sister.
6-point run for Jansen and Jones. Oh, she nearly snuck one away.
Yeah, never gives up, and that is a full swing from Mary there, and Allyce almost able to knock that back in the court, just couldn't get the paddle square enough.
8-9-2.
Jansen and Jones did take game number 1, so if they were to take the second, that would be the match.
Side out.
And they would move on to the semifinals.
Tough swing from Maggie there, so will they do just that here with the ball?
9-8-1. Point.
That's twice she's asked herself
The
that.
internal dialogue has now become external dialogue.
Yeah, we got like a Homer Simpson thing going on here. Is that my outside voice? Yes, Mary, it is.
Match point.
Point.
The comeback in game number 2 for Jansen and Jones. Moving on to the semifinals.
Yeah, and I think the Brascias are going to look back at this and say, man alive, we had the ball at 7 several times to really get that extended, even if they just get one at a time. So that's going to be a frustrating loss for two very talented players, but this is what Jansen and Jones do. They hang around, they find their game, they run down lobs, they throw up lobs of their own, and they are a very tough out. And what do you know? They're in the semifinals again, Cam.
They are moving on to the semifinals. They'll have a chat with Cameron Blackwood after this short break. Cameron Blackwood currently standing courtside with Leah Jansen and Allyce Jones. The winners move into the semis.
Thanks, Cam. Leah, you guys were playing such an incredibly defensive team there in the Brascias. At what ball were you sighting? Where were you aiming for those speed ups to get those putaways?
I mean, I always just aim at the person right in front of me. So that was Mary. And in the first game, I think she wasn't really expecting it, but then she started shutting me down. So we had to be a little more patient and work the point.
They started attacking Leah a little bit more in that second game. How does your role change?
You know, my job is just to set her up as much as I can. So I started moving my dinks around a little bit more instead of just giving it cross court consistently to Mary, and that made a big difference.
And we're continuing the love here with the Utah, going from Cali to you. Do you have anything you want to say to your friends and family in here?
I love my family. They're back there, right there. Love my Utah fans. I've even have students here today when I was a teacher, so this is like the coolest thing ever. So love Utah.
There you have it. They're moving on to the semifinals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with our men's semifinals.